If your feet, core, arms, eyes, brain and gun are perfectly aligned as one, you will never miss again. Or so says a certain school of people. None more so than Churchill, the man who loved short barrel guns and a very proficient shot. And so today I have brought out a 25-inch side-by-side to see if there's any truth to that, and more importantly to see whether there's a space in a world that ever increasingly values 30, 32 and 34-inch barrels for something so dinky. The basic concept of a shotgun is not particularly complicated, and over the years we've discussed how it is just a steel tube, or two, or sometimes three or four, with some kind of locking mechanism to close up the back of the breech, some kind of firing mechanism, but other than that it's just a pipe that throws shot out the other end. Over the last 150 years we've done a really good job of perfecting the art of these guns, making them the best and finest things, making them super robust and really diverging that trunk of the basic it needs to throw shot out the end into a beautiful tree of variety, of quality, of hardness and coolness. And along the way we've seen certain branches flourish more than others. Currently the branch is for longer barrels. And there's a lot of reasons for this, right? Our understanding of biomechanics, our understanding of making the shot happen is better than it's ever been. More importantly, we look at the best of the best in the clay circuit, whether that's FITASC or sporting more than anything else. 32-inch barrels seem to be this hugely dominant force. They're big, they're strong, these guys and women have economy of movement, they're not wielding a gun around like they once did. But also within the shooting sector in England, the prevalence of higher birds, the understanding of swing, correct mount positioning and being a better shooter, people can handle those longer barrels. You're not like shooting partridges breaking that head where it's super instinctive, and even if they can, we're bigger and stronger than we were 100 years ago, and so a 32-inch barrel probably comparatively isn't that big. This little Boswell non-ejector is a cheap, non-exciting gun, but back in its day would have been used probably to put food on the table or to have a lot of enjoyment. If it's still relative is kind of the question we're here to see today in a world that would view this 25.5-inch barrel as not that exotic. The answer is of course yes. I think when taken in context. We just shot this stand here, left to right, 20-yard maximum, 17 yards, sort of like a skeet low house from station 3 and a rabbit, very slow rabbit. Shot from the low gun position, this gun is wildly easy to shoot. It's short and it's sharp. And the basis of this kind of gun, as I said at the beginning, although a little facetiously, is that you just look into the target and shoot. You focus, you get into the target, through the target, one simple move, whack. And that seemed to crush those pretty much every time. What will be interesting is to take this into a more modern scenario. You think the world of English sporting and hunting certainly back in the day when game shooting in the UK wasn't about height like it is now. It was about shooting a good bag of birds and making them as sporting as possible. Distance really didn't come into that particularly. But speed and making sure the bird was edible at the end was kind of the priority, as it should be now, or certainly the latter should be now. Let's go and find a stand with a little bit more beans and see whether a 26-inch gun can handle it. You know, I've done this kind of shooting before. It's not my first time shooting a 25.5-inch, it's an awkward number, isn't it? Let's call it a 26-inch gun. But what you do seem to lack on those big guns, now that we understand the idea of connecting to a target and moving out of it, making a move, it's not quite as steady as we should see. But let's see if we can tame the beast. All right, so AD sim pair. They're actually just flipping a comp, so everything here today is steadier, a little bit more tight in your face. Doesn't make it easy. That A and the D as a sim pair is going to require some shooting and the sort of control you might want a 32-inch for. But we're going to shoot this and go through our thoughts. What's the worst that could happen? The little Boswell did good. It broke those clays with reckless abandon. The gaps on them weren't much more than about 3 feet, which honestly, from my experience shooting these short barrel guns in the past, is kind of where they start to fall apart a little bit until you really get to know, which is where they really get to fall apart. And that's where they sort of fall apart until you really get to know them. The inherent problem is that shooting either swing through or pull away off of a 3-foot gap or a 2-foot gap is quite simple. It's just bang. It's not such a complicated move. And then the move back for a second target is relatively instinctive, and so you can get away with quite a lot. The problem comes when you have something at 45 yards that you're needing to pull out some margin in front of in a complicated way, and doing that 5 times in a row. That's where these little things don't work quite so well. It's way more prevalent and noticeable on an over and under, interestingly, because of the weight distribution. Actually, on this thing, it's really, really impressively steady for a 25.5-inch barrel gun. And that is good, I suppose. I suppose the underlying question here, and the one I'd love to ask and have a discussion about in the comments, is this. If we move from 25 to 32-inch barrels over the last 80 years, in another 80 years, will we be on 39-inch barrels? Where does it stop, you know? At the World Skeet, there was a guy with a 15-pound gun, something like that. Do we just shoot increasingly heavy things and bigger things, or do you reckon there will be some kind of comeback? There's already a comeback of the sub gauges, because those who want lighter but still want sort of that long barrel handling. And ammunition over the last 80 years has become extremely reliable and performs exceptionally. This is more of just plopping my thoughts on the table. Let's have a discussion. We'll see you on the other side. Do 25-inch instinctive guns still have much of a place outside of walked up hunting and low birds? Because honestly, after today's performance, I'd say this would actually be the weapon of choice for anything inside 25 yards. It was veritably easy. I'm not tired moving it around. There's a lot of benefit to be said for that. Maybe me and Reinhold need to have a catch up, take a couple of short barrel guns out on a 100 registered and really see where the holes lie. Because up until 30 years ago, 28-inch was the length of choice for all sporting competition. I do wonder. And I wonder if you wonder too. Take care, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching TGS Outdoors. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, like it, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and share it with your friends. This channel would not exist without the support of our amazing sponsors. They really do keep this content coming week after week. Thank you also to our channel members. You guys are amazing. If you want to know more about channel membership, there's a join button down there. Click it, you get some free extra content, you get early releases. Occasionally we get together and shoot some clays. Take care, guys. We'll catch you soon.